Watch me now!
Given that Aid and Mirror are very strong on this of the bottom floor defense with the Mirror, and keeping those hatches shut, especially with no Thatcher on the board, I'm going to say it. That's my picks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're about to see starting things off. BenchWarmers for the first. It is going to be the Thatcher. So keeping up to the trueness of obviously saying Thatcher is always the one to go. We are now yet to see if Flores or Jackal is to share the same fate for the bench this game. And, well, okay. Let's take everything that we speculated in the interim, throw it out the window. Carly is the ban here for Vulpes.
Okay, I guess I would speculate at kind of the thinking. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna stop because I'm not sure what else to say. I was gonna say, what, Carly? Maybe they're removing all the possible wall denial and relying on a Maverick, but okay, maybe they're just getting rid of Azami for fun. Given that she's not even playable here, just want to make sure no one accidentally clicks on it, right? That's why they.
Yeah. They're just doing a favor for the defense now that there is obviously no 6-pick for them available. Yeah, okay. Well, Azami is gone officially now, but Amonte is teased here by Azumi, and it's something that we've seen sort of come to light in recent, that Monty has made a little bit of a resurgence across competitive Siege recently. Now, Spud, do you think that Azumi is going to be sticking this here, or do you think that there's going to be a bit of a switch off?
Well, I mean, we just talked about how Vulpes prefers a more aggressive playstyle, and this would play very well into it. Rather than having to sit on drones and drive their toy car around, they just walk into sight with the Monty as their drone. So it fits it perfectly, if anything. I think they're going to stick it.
Well,
guess we'll have to find out. But yeah, bottom floor defense, that's usually where you see the Monty being played. So if they drone out the site, realize this is the location, probably sticking it. We do have, the Melusi on board here, slowed down a little bit. And of course, Luxie on that jungle will be able to deny for an extended period of time as well. So Monty will be effective, but can be easily stalled out if BenchWarmers play their cards right.
Yeah, the way that Vulpes is sort of setting this up here, I think it's going to be hard through the dirt tunnel, possibly just straight into the back of server. I mean, BenchWarmers aren't necessarily prepared for that. We do see the Monty going straight down there with Jesse now as well. So the Capitao and the Monty are already making their way into server. The drones are there, and yeah, they've already got server control. Jaeger is going to be cut off here, and okay, Ravana with the pistol is going to win that fight. That is the Capitao down in the first 30 seconds. And that is a really big pick, but there you go. There's the refrag. And, well, a bit of a rocky start here, but Vulpes have compensated.
Yeah, I felt like that was more of an afterthought. She's just like, oh, there's someone there. Oh, I have my pistol out. Guess I'll just use that. And just like that, Jesse taken off the board. But there is a refrag, a trade back, and, taking out one of the top fraggers will be very useful here. But yeah, as you said, hard push into server here. All the utilities stacked up here, but oh no, not like this. Not like this.
At least it was made up for. Angry will find the refrag. The diffuser now retrieved as well, but they forced Luxie's hand to break out that Tachanka utility early on there, attempting to burn into the site here with utility, and they will get a little bit in, but the shield is still standing and has yet to be cleared by Vulpes. But I mean, there's plenty of time to play with. Angry's going to go down on the entry here, and that is going to be a good shot there from the Cade. But will be able to self-revive and make it all the way. Meg's going to finish the job there, but a 2 versus 3 Spud. Plenty of utility left to go. On this angle, Meg's going to find 2. Is it good for 3? That is the big question. Indeed, it is, Spud. 3 for Meg. BenchWarmers find round 1, and Vulpes, a few big hurdles there trying to get into the back of server.
Yeah, look, they started off strong. The Monty push did actually have a lot of potential to catch BenchWarmers off guard, but unfortunately just weren't able to capitalize on that. I mean, Capital taken this straight off the board, and although they got the refrag, the trades didn't really come out in their favor, and especially with that Malusi and Tachanka delaying so much, they really couldn't get into sight. I mean, 2 things I did notice. They didn't use a hard breach charge, probably could have opened up an angle or an alternate avenue into that site. And also, of course, a little bit at the end, it seemed like they were pushing 1 by 1, and that's not something you usually want to do, especially when you have a player holding an angle like Meg was, just watching from those boxes. It's very difficult to challenge that. Better maybe just to go around.
Yeah, I mean, having the 0 still alive at the end of that round there, it sort of opened up avenues for them that they didn't really explore. They could have opened up default plant with the sort of turnaround crouch and attempt to go for that bomb plant, but obviously with Tachanka on the board, they did have a lot of time as well. They could have tried to bait out some of that utility. The Nitro was too far away from Meg to sort of be thrown from red there, unless obviously she exposed herself. But even still, very well read by BenchWarmers. They had themselves set up ready to sort of counter that direct aggression through blue, and then the team kill, obviously, as well, coming out on top of that, didn't help Vulpes in any capacity, which is a bit of a shame. But Monty taken out by themselves did really help BenchWarmers there in the latter part of that round. So a good way to kick things off here for Bank. They're going to go straight upstairs to the secondary bomb site. But no Monty this time, a Blitz instead for Azumi.
Yeah, I think they're kind of doubling down on this very aggressive, very rapid entry. They've got the Blitz, they've got the Finker. I did see a Ying tease before, has been flipped onto the Blitz here. But yeah, however, we did see that pre-placed C4, and that could prove to be a bit of trouble here if that goes off at the right time. But for the most part, this is, again, a very rapid entry, already in lobby, no challenge so far. Ravenna looking for that first one, but I'm not sure if you'll see Toki. Toki will fire back, and Ravenna pulls back now with her life.
Yeah, Vulpes have made a very explosive entry into the bottom of White Stairs here, and probably could have made it all the way up main. But speaking of main, that is going to be Eevee taken down, as well as Angry off screen, and Vulpes are going to lose 3 now, with Ravenna finding another onto Toki. And very quickly, this aggression for Vulpes just does not seem to be working very well. The Nitro will be used there by Meg, unfortunately, is not going to find the waiting feet of Jesse. And now in a 2 versus 5, they have a minute and a half left. Some good utility on the board, but Blitz and Havana are a bit of an odd pair.
Yeah, and especially they seem to be fairly separated here. I'm not sure how those refrags will come through. Azumi now looking to challenge this Kaid, but that's not really an easy fight, especially at that range. The Kaid has a 1.5 times sight, and for the most part, the attack looks to have been stalled out. That explosive momentum we saw at the start has suddenly disappeared, and now they're just stuck with minimal map control and mostly outside the building.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much available here for Vulpes to really play with. I mean, they've got 2 alive, and yeah, such a big split. It is going to be Jesse to opt to try and play for a 1 here. However, the crossfire set up. Lux is going to swing out and collect. Azumi still fighting Meg at the top of the square stairs here. Both of these players are on quite low HP, albeit from behind. L is there to shut down Azumi, and that's going to be another round for the defense. Vulpes, is this aggression just not paying dividends for them?
Well, the thing about aggression is that it has to be well placed. There's no point blindly charging in or pushing the wrong places, and it seems here that it's a lack of information. They seem to have fairly good idea of where they want to go in, where they want to be entering, and a stock and a main stair, a banana stair push isn't a bad idea. You do get to get that pinch onto whoever's in elevator and playing around stock, but it's a lack of information. They just weren't aware Meg was still on that ground floor. They weren't aware that where these players were, and that's just costing them because there's just too many angles to be watching. No matter how well you can shoot, right? Even if you have the perfect aim, you can't shoot two people at the same time, right? You can't be looking everywhere at the same time, and that's just getting the better of Vulpes.
Yeah, I think them splitting up as well, unfortunately, it led to a little bit of their demise. I mean, we had 3 enter through lone office. Only one really made their way towards white. The other solid up main. And the blitz was actually left behind in terms of this push, was on the other side of the map. To her own devices, Zumi was kind of just left pretty much just solo to take into square. But albeit the strategy for Vulpes possibly to slow things down a little bit here. I mean, we do see the addition of line and knock into the equation here, so maybe that is the indication that the playstyles maybe changed as well as the Jackal for Angry. But we're going to have to see how that plays out, Spoke, because these 2 previous rounds have not necessarily gone very well for Vulpes.
Yeah, and although they've gotten some early picks and they seem to be in the right places, it's just a matter of not covering enough angles. There's potential there if once the drones give that correct information. I think they could really capitalize on that, and that's something I'd really like to see from Vulpes in these upcoming rounds. On the part of BenchWarmers, though, their defense seems to be pretty solid. They've got players holding in different positions. They've got them in that off-site defense and then falling back. So fundamentally, I think they're doing that pretty well.
They've been allowed to pretty much just walk all the way up from bottom floor to the first floor here. Ravana, however, is going to be, again, the first to find the opener. This is going to be good now with the Jackal as well off the board. That is a big pick to find for BenchWarmers, keeping things real here. And that's actually going to be Diffuser down as well. But Vulpes have some good control. They actually have Eve pushing into the kitchen double door here and might actually be good to just walk into the site. Toki has also relayed this information to the rest of the teammates, and it is looking like it's going to either be an aggression straight past the bomb site onto the top floor, Spud.
That's unfortunate. I'm not sure if that was a necessary pick, though. Maybe could have gotten rid of those players up in that elevator, especially when they drop later. But, well, they were in a fairly good position, but I think the game has been given away, even though first to find that kill now. And actually on site and planting, okay, I may have spoken too soon, and defenders all actually off-site and unaware, but yeah, that's a diffuser down, and where is everyone?
Eve is going to get one. Rav is going to be good for the trade. Meg's going to go down to Azumi on a double, and it's going to leave Ravana to her own devices, but she could just go for the defuse here because no one from Vulpes is really too close by to do much about it. However, Toki has now repositioned, and there you go. That is going to be the headshot there from the Buck to finish things off. A bit of a shaky round across the board for both teams, but I mean, Vulpes come out on top of it, Spud.
Yeah, I like how they used the information they got from Toki on those on that main stairs. They actually figured out that, hey, there's no one on site. Everyone's off site. This site is free. And props to them for being very confident and aggressive and just walking right up to the site and just going for that plan. I thought, maybe they be concerned about playing elevator dropping down, and hence why went up to the second floor to challenge that. But no, they went for the plan, and to BenchWarmers' fault, they didn't really have much of a plan to get back to site.
Yeah, not really many avenues opened up for them, but I mean, still, they're tempted to make the best of the situation. They did get back onto the site. Ravana was in a pretty prime spot to get straight on that defuse. If she had, that round may have been slightly different, but albeit BenchWarmers find their first. Vulpes find their first here. After a long set of misplays from them, Bank does have a little bit of a warm-up time, I think, though, Spud. You do have to definitely pin things down to that because, as mentioned at the start of this, it is one of those newer maps back into the pool. Teams may not necessarily be too comfortable on it just yet, but Vulpes are making the best of the situation they have been dealt. We do see Azumi sixing off onto the Amaru here, which, again, a little bit of a questionable pick, but we'll see how it pans out. For a bottom floor hold, I would not be expecting to see an Amaru, but we have it, Spud.
Yeah, but if you think about it, right, we do see a lot of pro teams starting from the top and moving down for that roam clear. You usually start from those CEO windows, you go in from there, and, that is one way to approach it. And so with Azumi on that, on the Amaru, could actually get onto that top floor very quick, catch any roamers unaware, and that will give you more freedom to start working those stairs as well. And yeah, already we have L playing in the elevator, and I don't know if either of these players are aware of each other's position. The drone does come out now, and finally some drone work will actually catch her, and there we go. Good drone work and that early pick from Izumi.
Yeah, the Amaru seems to be paying dividends somehow on the top floor. But paired with the line, I mean, Vulpes have definitely sort of changed up their operator lineup 3 times, Spud, in the last 3 rounds. We've seen 3 sort of different sets being bought here by them, and this might be the one that sort of works for them in the end. I mean, we do have, obviously, the first pick on the board for them now. Paired with the line, though, this is going to be a big enabler for their aggression. Now, they do have first floor control. The remaining players for BenchWarmers down on the site, holding their angles, waiting for the aggression to come. I mean, Vulpes have all the time in the world, opening up some hatches. It's looking like they might gear their push towards the vault side of things and maybe opt for a vault drop. Here is going to be the second 3 line scans. Jesse sort of getting this hatch open in the main here is going to be very aggressively peaked, though. Meg is going to answer back with a good trade. Now 4 versus 4. Only a minute 20 left. Rab's going to find 1. Not good for the second. Toki will take down Arctic, and that is also a frag on the board for Eevee. Now, very quickly, a 2 versus 3 Spud. Well, a minute left. Still plenty of time.
Toki will find 1 more onto Meg, and that's a 1v3. Luxie left all alone by herself. Does have some denial to stop the push from a couple of angles, but there's only so much you can do when there's 3 players remaining. Position is given away. They do know where she is, and now with her position locked down, it's just a matter of going for the plant now, and she is forced to fall back. Izumi going for the plant now. 2 players covering. This is definitely a difficult place to be.
Bomb is going to go down. Now 45 seconds for Luxie to find 3 players that are already cemented themselves inside the bomb site. Final line scan here slows down this retake even more, but it's not going to come down to much. Toki's there. The head of Luxie will be found on the buck, and that's going to be another round for Vulpes, who seem to have found their footing.
Yeah, it was off to a shaky start here, but now definitely looking a lot more confident here. They've got the rhythm, they figured out what they're doing, and we're starting to see some good coordination and drone work as well. And as we mentioned earlier, that seemed to be what was lacking, the intel. But as we saw in that previous round, the first pick from Izumi onto L, got onto the second floor very quickly, had the drone, droned out L, and then got that pick. Perfect drone work and perfect drone clear.
Yeah, really well executed. I mean, especially with the Valkyrie to go down quickly as well. That's a Nitro off the board. And just really a lot of good utility that was saved. For the attackers, they only use 1 drone, no extra utility to find that roamer, and at the end of the day, you take those, especially when you're starting things off on the attack on bang. As much utility as you can save going into the final rounds is obviously the better. But again, speaking of roster swaps in the previous round, Vulpes have mixed things up again here, and Izumi's now on Fuse instead.
Yeah, I mean, keeping BenchWarmers on their toes, they're not really sure what to expect. I mean, I hope it works. Fuse can be very powerful playing those verticals, and especially now that he can go straight through the hatches, could clear out all this utility here on the A side. There's shields, there's Goyo charges, 2 in fact. Could definitely open up that site for the plant. As well, the hard breach charges, no, she will be bringing the soft breach charges. I was going to say, if she had hard breach charges, could definitely make opening those hatches even easier.
Could be a rush here for Eevee, who has already made a pretty significant dash here all the way into server with the Finker there. So the CBRN operators looking to make their play into the bottom side of the side. Obviously, Jaeger is going to be on the lurk. Ravana doing what she's been doing in these past few rounds, holding down this blue side of the map with some good utility. However, Z-pings are there for the defense, and that, again, Ravana inside of blue does not lose those fights. Takes down Eevee. That is the line gone. Did get one of those E1D scans off. However, no more will be used in this round, and the flashbangs are actually going to be taken to the grave as well.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate pick right there. Definitely had the info. But hey, still have 4 players left to work with, so definitely have the utility, have the player count. They just need to find those picks, and they've got pretty good positioning here. They've pushed up all the way to garage. They have server control, and I don't think there's anyone actually off-site who might challenge from blue. Meg, however, will find another pick onto Toki, and That's not another player you want to be losing. You just do not want to be losing any more players, especially now that it's 2 players up for BenchWarmers.
Yeah, Vulpes, unfortunately, that's not finding these opening picks. I mean, Ravanna's good for, I believe, 3 openers here, Spud. Every time she sort of gets into those opening engagements, she wins them. And that has been a huge factor for BenchWarmers here in sort of turning around a lot of these trade conversions. But 3 versus 5, not really much left on the board for Vulpes to work with. They don't really have any means of clearing the Cade off of the main hallway hatch. That is going to be able to get open that main site hatch, but that is really all the control that they have for themselves right now. I mean, no real blue presence, no main flank sort of taken up. I mean, Angry has rotated to try and sort of attempt to peek down the main stairs here, but Ravanna is just keeping them on their toes, peeking really aggressive. Will spot out Izumi, unfortunately not good for that frag. A lot of damage dealt, but with only 30 seconds left, Spud, L will find one on, I believe, possibly the flank, Angry to go down, but Izumi popping those Goyo charges, that is probably ill-advisable because that has locked her teammate out of the site for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate there, a bit of a misplay, but 20 seconds now, will go for the drop, doesn't get taken out straight away, looking down to PC, looks away, I believe there was a player, there it is, L takes her out, and now Jessie left all by herself, will be forced to drop site with 10 seconds, 3 players, 4, and the diffuser in hand.
The bomb's actually going to go down here. Throughout the utility dump that was coming up. I mean, what? Luxie was shooting the Tachanka grenades. We had a Nitro to come from L. We had the Goyo canister popped on the wall. It was really World War III there in the trenches for the Havana, but got that bomb down. Pros don't fake, unfortunately, is going to be defused at the end of the day. But I mean, you really... Yeah, Ravanna has got it correct. Plus respect, definitely plus rep for sticking that plant out. A 1v4, albeit a little bit much to ask in the given situation, but getting that bomb down is definitely a reward, I think.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you got to get those points, right? You don't want to be at the bottom of the leaderboard. Exactly. You got to get those points for it. So, hey, what else are you going to do, right?
Oh, that was... that would have definitely been hectic there. For Jessie, albeit BenchWarmers find themselves the 3rd, looking good to take this 4-2 half that we talked about. But, I mean, Vulpes, if they can find a 3rd here, going to be setting themselves up pretty decently going into the defense side of things. Obviously, BenchWarmers are a team that we've seen perform better on the defense side of things. Obviously, we've seen them play Cafe before, and their defense on Cafe is really good. Just in general, BenchWarmers have a really good defense side. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can back that up on the attack as well. But for BenchWarmers here, the final defense round that they are going to be playing in this matchup is going to be on the top floor, back up in the office, Spud. Not really too much has changed in the lineup, though, throughout these 6 rounds. I mean, they have kept it pretty vanilla, minus Luxie switching between Tachanka and Smoke. So, I mean, what are you thinking of their lineup? How strong do you rate this so far?
Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty well-rounded lineup. They've got the intel in the form of the Valkyrie, even though it is a lucky dip, as they said every time. I'm just surprised they get the same thing every time. So, hey, works for them. Valkyrie, of course, they do have the Kai to stop some of those, to stop the wall being opened so easily, and Meg has been doing really well with that org as well in hand. Shotguns to open things up, denial, intel denial as well. Again, all-rounded, everything you need for a good defense.
On the other hand, though, Meg, and we were talking about how good she's been doing on that org, is going to be traded out relatively quickly by Jessie. So, I mean, Jackal for a Cade definitely favours the attack there. Sorry, the defense there a little bit more. Obviously, taking that Inox scanner off the board is going to be a big opener to find. But still, I mean, a Nitro traded is nothing to be shy of in terms of defense, albeit. Vulpes taking things slowly this time. They know they have a lot to deal with on the board here from the defense. Obviously, clearing out the shield on the top floor is going to be their first point of contact, and Ravanna is going to be forced deeper into the janitor closet. But the Z-pings are there. The Valkyrie already proving to be quite useful. Pre-fire, unfortunately, isn't going to connect. But, I mean, the information right now for BenchWarmers is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that has set these two teams apart, is BenchWarmers do have a better grasp of the information that's coming in compared to Vulpes. Could be partly because it is defense, you do usually get a bit more intel, and of course Valk has worked wonders, but hey, you can't complain about that. L gets one. Angry will trade back, but Ravenna quick to get the refrag, and once again, the play advantage back in favor of BenchWarmers, and if this continues, definitely a BenchWarmers round.
There you go, Ravenna finding another one, Azumi to fall. Now things left to Jesse on the knock. An operator that could definitely do it all, but doesn't really matter. Ravenna is good for another one, finds the 2 at the top of square, and it's going to close out the half of BenchWarmers at 4-2. Vulpes, unfortunately, didn't quite have as much steam going into their attack as maybe was hoped. But, I mean, a 4-2 is definitely nothing to frown against, especially now that they're going to have their attempt at the defense side of things. We already see Capcan coming out here pretty quickly there from Toki, paired with a Frost and a Thorn. So really trap heavy. I think Azumi was a bit of a AFK pick there on the pulse from the top floor. Maybe not. But, I mean, that is very trap-oriented for Bank Spot.
Yeah, and if BenchWarmers do have good drone work, and especially with that Twitch on board, might not work out so well for Vulpes. I do see a distinct lack of intel. They do have a pulse, of course, but apart from that, you know, no wall denial either. Not quite sure. Again, it could work though. I mean, it really depends on how well BenchWarmers are able to drone out these key positions. And, you know, first attack round we're seeing could work wonders, could go not so well.
Well, we're going to see if Vulpes can sort of switch their pace up here on the defense side of things. Obviously, first few rounds were pretty rough for them, Spud. Couldn't quite get the rush to work out, couldn't quite get their aggression in the right places, as we would maybe say. But they did sort of start to clean things up towards the end of the half. And now, obviously, on the defense side, they are going to have a lot more information to play with, which will hopefully enable them to play how they want to play. And I mean, we have seen Vulpes do it before in such a dominant fashion. Back when we saw like Spork on the roster, for example. I mean, that iteration of Vulpes was a super aggressive sort of version. But I mean, we are seeing the pulse come in downstairs. So even if it was an AFK pick, it is already proving to be quite useful. We'll also spot out some drones here and maybe go to try and get rid of those. But that's an interesting shield setup upstairs there for Vulpes. We got the double shield on the janitor door. I rate this. I really do.
Yeah, look, haven't seen it before, but
no,
it's definitely interesting. Like, not something you see every day, and maybe BenchWarmers won't be ready to deal with that. Not sure they're ready to deal with this pistol rush either, but will be taken down. Ravenna does find the better of Izumi. Does have a slightly better gun as well, and also, yeah, she's going 10-4. What can you do at that point?
Yeah, Ravenna definitely do be fragging for her team. And speaking of Ravenna, is going to find a double. Could be good for some more, especially on the Jackal. But Toki takes a considerable amount of damage there from Meg, albeit will come out the better of the two. Now, Jesse is going to leave that fortified position to attempt to get the ace charges off the main wall there, and will actually succeed in her endeavour. However, droned out by the Twitch may now be an inadvisable choice. But yeah, the wall now opened up. Obviously gives the attackers a sight line straight through L to find the head of Toki inside of the site. And that's going to leave things all up to Jesse and Angry in the 2 versus 4 BenchWarmers. Look like they can't really be stopped.
Yeah, they have the player advantage. All they need to do now is find out where those last players are and then push them. They can go for the refrags if need be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, but Jesse will find one, and also helped a bit by that grenade as well. And might be able to catch that player on the rappel. And certainly with these shields still in position and no explosive utility to deal with them, could be very troublesome. Ravenna, however, will finish off that player. Now it's up to Angry all by herself with two players to find.
Jesse from the afterlife and Toki with the Capcan trap. Things very quickly sway back in favor of Vulpes. Angry with more HP than Arctic could definitely win this out. However, due to the fact that it is an OSA, the bomb could go down here. No really impact utility on the board. I think Arctic might try and force this gunfight here. I mean, is going to spot the head, and there you go. So from long range with the 1.5, Arctic gets the job done. Clutching things out for BenchWarmers, and I mean, Spud, for a second there, things were looking pretty dire for Vulpes there. I mean, and then the utility came out, the traps ultimately sort of almost clutched the round.
Yeah, I mean, we were just doubting, oh, is this going to work out? But apparently it was going to work out great. It was... Yeah, there's just no better outcome you could have hoped for from those traps. And it is those situations where these sort of operators do shine. It's at the end of the round when you don't have time. You need to just go for the execute. You're on low health, and then suddenly you walk into Captain Mine, and that's it. You're dead. So yeah, 2 traps, 2 kills. Hey, you couldn't want more than that. Well, you could, but like, it's pretty good return for what you put in.
Yeah, especially post-mortem for both of those players. Unfortunately, it didn't net them the round. It was close, but Arctic had the better, I would say the better gun for that engagement over long range, and obviously put it to good use there in the dying seconds of that round. But I mean, BenchWarmers right now, a team that is currently sitting at, I believe... the last place?
Seventh.
Seventh. They are 1 difference again ahead. So, I mean, going into this, we said these teams were going to be pretty evenly matched, Bud. But right now, it's definitely looking like BenchWarmers have the upper hand here, especially given that the score is 5-2 and that, you know, BenchWarmers aren't letting off the gas anytime soon.
Yeah, we did talk about that Flores pick earlier, and it looks like Meg has brought that out. Will be very, very helpful in clearing out that double shield position that we saw earlier. And that's just 2 free shields you get there. No mute jammer either to deny any drone information. So, bit awkward there. Izumi, in the meantime, will take a bit of a nap, just chilling out in this office. And I wonder if anyone will be unfortunate enough to stumble through the side of the map.
Yeah, she do be snoozing in lone office, though. I mean, it is probably the best spot on this map to go to sleep due to the fact that it is so low traffic. But all the same, interesting choice to reside residence. Now, Meg, some good drone utility here. We'll be able to designate that Janitor is actually clear at the moment for BenchWarmers to possibly take into the top of square and actually sort of work that position. I mean, the rotates are there to allow angles into the site. Nobody from Vulpes is currently manning them now that the shield has been dealt with. And I mean, Jesse has fallen back all the way back to Elevator. I mean, we do see 2 players from BenchWarmers also in the hallway now, sort of just creeping their way up towards that vending machine side, as well as trying to now take into Janitor. This is going to be L spearheading this push here. But I mean, a minute and a half gone, Spud, and Vulpes, they're not looking too good. A lot of their utility has been cleared away, and BenchWarmers are just encroaching on the site ever so slowly.
Yeah, Ravenna will open that up first onto Angry. However, Evie will find a second pick onto Luxie. So back even now. L downed as well. Probably will be shot and finished off soon. But Ravenna actually all the way into sight does get an opportunity to plant. And with Meg and Arctic both pushed up, I spoke too soon. Zumi will find Meg, although Meg at least takes one to the grave with her. And now 3v3.
Toki on the flank. This could be big here for Vulpes if she can find, and he's going to look the wrong way though. Ravenna was ready and waiting. We'll take down the flanker, and the bomb now to go down. Evie's going to have to push through Janet and get aggressive. We'll find the first onto L. The bomb now down though, and Ravenna's fighting to get out of the site, but Evie's on a quad. She's on for an ace. If she can find Arctic, the job can be done, but the Jackal opts to go for a little bit of a rotate outside, possibly just to hold a long angle. Will spot the Mozzie. Evie can't quite land the shot. Will take some damage. However, needs to cover her teammate here on the defuse. Izumi tries to bait the peak. Arctic not quite falling for it just yet. Will go for the stick. She's going to go down and be taken out. Evie can't quite land the shots for her ace. She needs to find the damage here to take down the Jackal. The Nitro not quite going to make the distance. Will spot the leg. Not going to hit the shot though as the time ticks away. It's too far gone now. Arctic doesn't even need to move. She's going to go for the peak anyway. She's going to try and play for the ace. But at this point, the bomb's already gone. She's going to get the ace, ladies and gentlemen. But that unfortunately means the bomb's not going to be defused. And Vulpes, they're going to, unfortunately, lose that round.
So close, but so close is not good enough. You need to win that round. And although she got that ace and she was almost close to getting that diffuser, it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, there were a couple of moments there, especially when, you know, they peeked onto that player diffusing. Could have gone for the kill there. I mean, you can only shoot one person at a time. And also the leg sticking out, that was rather unfortunate. Just, that's got to be an ouch moment. Yeah. But hey, on the part of BenchWarmers, though, that's definitely going to be a good win to get under your belt. Going to be feeling great after that, clutching it from the jaws of defeat. And yeah, that puts them on match point as well.
Yeah, huge from the Jackal there to sort of just play passively. I mean, not giving in to that aggressive tendency to swing. Definitely big ups for Benchwarmer Arctic there, closing things out. I mean, very commendable effort there from Vulpes. I mean, an ace from Evie to single-handedly almost bring it back from the brink of defeat. You do have to highlight that at the end of the day. I mean, 9-6 for her team right now, putting in the utmost work for Vulpes. But I mean, it is really just it is a complete comparison when you look at the side of Benchwarmers. I mean, Ravanna leading the pack with 14 Spud, followed by Elle and Meg both on 8. I mean, Benchwarmers are just sort of doing pretty much whatever they want. I mean, their aggression compared to what we saw from Vulpes in the first couple of rounds on their attack has just been so much more calculated. I mean, they've been finding so much control early on. I mean, we saw them pretty much halfway through that round. They were already basically towards the innermost parts of the bomb site on the top floor. So can they do it again here possibly? You know, we will see. But I mean, right now it is match point for Benchwarmers, and they're looking to close this one out pretty quickly.
Yeah, you've got 4 rounds ahead of you, but you don't want to be dragging out for too long. You don't want Vulpes to be able to build up any sort of momentum. I mean, we did see them briefly attempt that early on, but, you know, that was just 2 rounds, and now that's all gone in the past. 4 rounds in a row for Benchwarmers. Will they make it a 5th for the win? Yeah, at this point, 1 minute already gone off the board. The one roamer, Jessie, has been forced to fall back now, and they do have control of open area and the kitchen, which allows them to start working those hatches.
Really well done as well there from Benchwarmers, Meg, following that drone through. I mean, yes, the live drone was there. Unfortunately, the frag was not to come out. However, the whole premise of obviously forcing this roamer off is now it gives Benchwarmers a lot more to sort of work with in terms of control. And I mean, that is, I believe, both the fire bolts used there by Capitao to try and clear out Eve here, who isn't going to go without a fight. But the refrag is there from Ravanna, I believe, on the hatch above. And, well, 2 firebolts were used in the process of taking down the Frost, but that is server now clear, and Benchwarmers are going to be able to make their way downstairs to possibly attempt to go for this plant. They do have Diffuser on this side of the map. Meg will find one's going to go down in the process, and possibly soon to be finished off unless Luxie can go for the res here, which may be the play, but with a minute left, it might be an explosion onto the side spot.
Luxie looking for this challenge will find the kill onto Jessie, and with that, yeah, extra HP boost from Arctic. That's 4 players against the 2. Angry and Izumi both on full health, but I spoke too soon. Will be taken down now. Angry, however, will find one at least as a consolation prize, but Angry now will be the last one alive. Has to find 3 and the Diffuser to stay in the match.
1 versus 3, it's a big feat. We'll find one. Meg to go down early. Arctic and Ravanna, 2 players that have been proving so much in this matchup so far. Needs to find both of them if she wants to clutch this out. It's already found the first. 25 seconds remain, but the nade to come through is going to force her hand on pushing into the bomb site. We'll spot the long angle, but Ravanna's actually going to go down on what I believe is a frost mat deep in server, and Angry finds a triple, needs to get the bomb, and the defuse is there. 10 seconds left. She's going to win the 1 versus 3, and Vulpes, they're going to hold on for 1 more round.
Well, we spoke about the traps, how at the last minute they can catch you unaware, and we saw that frost mat earlier on, and I was wondering, is anyone going to shoot it? Is anyone? But apparently not. And with that, a 1 versus 3 for Angry. Clutch out the round. Definitely a much needed round there. Break some of the momentum Benchwarmers has been building up and get another round onto the board. Well done there from Vulpes, and especially a nice carry there from Angry.
Keeping Vulpes' dreams alive single-handedly, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is twice that Ravanna has unfortunately found herself at the door of a trap operator, which, you know, take into consideration, needs to be checking her door frames and underneath the doors as we start to be jumping into these windows, albeit a little bit of banter in the chat. You always love to see it. But all the same, Spud, Vulpes hang on for 1 more round off the back of of a pretty monumental play from Angry. A 1 versus 3 with only, I believe, 20 seconds as she sort of started to make her way back to the site. So, very well done from Vulpes. That is 2 pretty big carrying efforts we've seen in the last 2 rounds from them. Obviously, Evie with the ace, and now Angry with the 1v3 to keep them in the fight. BenchWarmers, they've let a couple of these rounds slip, Spud, that they arguably probably shouldn't have been, given how dominant they've been so far in this matchup. But now, Vulpes have to go back upstairs where we have already seen BenchWarmers clutch things out. Do you think this is going to be another dominant round from BenchWarmers, or do you think we're going to see a very similar situation in terms of the clutch? Because we've already seen quite a few in this matchup already, Spot.
Yeah, the thing I worry about for Vulpes is that they're relying on 1 or 2 players to get that clutch, and you can't always rely on that in Siege. It's just not as consistent as a well-rounded coordinated team, So, I feel like eventually the numbers will add up for BenchWarmers. They'll be able to get that last round. It's just a matter of, will it be this round, the round after that, or the one after that? Especially if they let those mistakes once again slip through. As we've already said, that last round really should have been BenchWarmers' round to win. So, they make the same mistakes over and over again. I'm just wondering about the toll it takes on mental and whether that will affect their performance coming up.
Well, we're going to see how it pans out, Spud. This could be the last round here. Going into our second matchup of the evening, obviously Azumi, I believe, was asleep inside of Lone Office again there, but has made her way out into the main lobby, possibly looking for any skylight repels here to come out. But no, it's not going to be the skylight. It's actually going to be the main windows. Meg is there and waiting. Was possibly actually staring at Azumi there. Not too sure if that was the case. However, profanities exchanged. Meg's going to walk away with that frag all the same. Azumi now gone. The line scan to follow things up, and well, a minute and a half gone here, yet to open the wall up for her team. She's actually going to take things into her own hand, go downstairs, a lovely shot onto Angry, and is going to attempt to get the utility off of the wall. But, I mean, Spud, things for Vulpes not looking too good with Elle finding that. 5 versus 2 here for BenchWarmers to close things out. Will find 1 for compensation. Toki's going to have to drop now, but it's not looking too good in here for Spud. It's looking great for Spud, but it's not looking good for Vulpes.
Yeah, 2 players both taken down below full health, and however, Toki will find 1, and if she can get another, that might actually change things up. Jessie a second onto Meg, and now suddenly it's a 2v2. I don't know how they ended up in this situation. I really don't. But hey, it's working out.
Oh, no, Ravana is there, expecting the flank up white. Will take down the first. Now Toki, the only member left for Vulpes. A good amount of HP to play with, however, will be spotted and not quite fragged out by Arctic there on the rotate. It's going to make it all the way back to Trump office, but now has to find the 2 players, both coming in through the rotate. It's going to get 1, but Ravana is there for the refrag. BenchWarmers off a round again that was really way too close for comfort. They're going to finally walk away with the game, 7-3. Vulpes just could not keep up. They had some really good attempts there, but BenchWarmers, they're going to come out on top.
Well, Ravenna at the top of that scoreboard doing very, very well. I just want to take a look at the scores at the end. There we go, 18-6. Well deserved there. And
Watch me now! Watch me now!